Welcome to the easiest Pat's Pond guide you'll probably ever see. Start with sauda in the bottom right corner of the top left area. Make sure she's as bottom right as possible. It doesn't matter that much, but it's probably just better for RNG and consistency if you try and put her as bottom right as you can. You can put auto start on because obviously we have sauda, so the early game is really easy. And also, obviously, that's going to make the late game a little bit harder than if we had used Sai, who was supposed to be the other hero for this run, but I decided with sauda because she just makes the early game so much easier than Sai. During round 8, when you can afford it, get a sub and place it above that right rock in the water, as bottom right as you can. Leave that sub on first. This guide we're going to be abusing Big Bird because it's just unbelievably busted on this map, and of course Balloon Solver, which is my favourite tower, favourite tier 5 at least. During round 10, get a druid, place it below sauda as top right as possible in that corner. And just leave that druid on first, because right now we want it to shoot the balloons that are coming from the bottom track. So the balloons that the sub just doesn't hit, we need the druid to hit that. Before 15, get a Spectre in that bottom left corner. Obviously you do need the Spectre to beat 15, so make sure you get it before 15 starts or right at the start of the round. And then just start upgrading your druid to a 020 Heart of Oak. Obviously going to become a 130 Druid of the Jungle, the best tower in the game. Get Druid of the Jungle mid 22, then get Heart of Thorns at the end of 22. Get bigger stacks on the Spectre before 28. Obviously leads are not a concern because we have a 130 Druid. Mid 29, you want to get another Spectre in the top right this time. Place it about there, so not too low really, and then just upgrade that bottom left Spectre to faster production. So 110 on that bottom left Spectre. Then 120 on the bottom left Spectre, so even faster production, even though that's not actually necessary to beat the early game. But yeah, we get it because we can afford it, doesn't really matter beyond that. And for now we're going to leave that bottom left Spectre as it is because the Moab comes out of the left side and so it's going to hit the top right Spectre. So start upgrading that top right Spectre to a 320, so give it bigger stacks when you can afford it. Then faster production mid 35. Then get even faster production and white hot spikes mid 36. After that, get a beast handler about diagonally bottom right of your Spectre, so about there is good. And then just upgrade the beast handler to a 002 horned owl and then set it to strong. We just wanted to pick off the kind of stronger like pinks and tougher balloons. Get spiked balls before 40, obviously, because we need that to beat the Moab. On 40, just use Sauda's first ability after she stops attacking, and the Moab goes down no problem every single time. After 40, we need to upgrade that other Spactory to a 320 as well. So give it white hot spikes when you can, and then spiked balls mid 41. After your second 320 Spactory, give that bottom left Spactory an Alchemist. Try and put the Alch away from the track, but it doesn't really matter. Upgrade the Alch to a 320, Berserker Brew, Stronger Acid, Perishing Potions. And that's all we have to do for that bottom side, pretty much. A 320 Spactory with a 320 Alch is actually a very, very strong carry for the mid game. What you should be doing now is buying Golden Eagle when you can afford it. Round 49 gives you a lot of cash. Buy Giant Condor, mid 49, right before 50. Make sure you leave it on strong, because we wanted to target the Moabs, obviously. And if you're more of a keen-eyed viewer, you probably realise that you can't actually see where the Condor's grab point is on this map, and that's because Pat's Pond actually has extra track off the screen that isn't visible to the player, and that's where the grab point is for the bird. Which actually makes the map a little bit easier because there's a bit more space than you realise. But before 54, turn off auto start because we have to play some villages. As you saw me trying to do mid round, I couldn't really get it, so I was just like, yeah, let me turn off auto start and just do it properly. So the first village you want to get should be placed above the right side of the track. Try and put it as bottom right as possible above the track. Give it the discount upgrades, then another village below the right side of the track, as top right as possible. Both villages should be in range of one another. Give the second one discount upgrades as well. Then put a tack shooter next to your top village as bottom left as possible. It should be in double discount range, no problem. And it should fit there without any issues, as long as you place that top village properly. Upgrade the tack shooter to a 203 tack sprayer, and then just get overdrive mid-round. And at this point we can turn auto start back on again. Once you can afford it, get an alchemist and place it about there, so to the top right of your top village, and then just upgrade it to a 130. It should be closest to the tack shooter, which means the tack gets the buff. Don't worry if it's close to the beast handler, because the beast handler cannot steal the buff. And what you just saw is I upgraded the Alch to a 420, and then the Spactory got the buff as well. And that's exactly what should happen. You should get stronger stim, and then both your Spactory and your tack shooter should get the Alch buff. Get jungle drums and primary training on that top village before 60. And then just place an ice as top left as possible, as close to your bottom village as possible. So right there is good. Upgrade it to a 310, then place a glue gunner as low as possible in double discount range, so as low and left as possible. And then upgrade it to a 310 as well. 62, probably you should turn off auto start. We don't have to prepare, we just have to use some Sauda's ability, so. At the end of 62, set Sauda to strong. Hit play for 63, use her first ability on the first wave. Use her second ability on the second wave. And then use her first ability again on the third wave. Set her back to first at the end of the round. Then get Embrittlement on your Ice Monkey for that nice +1 damage to Moabs. Upgrade your bottom village to a radar scanner when you can. And what should happen is your attack shooter, your embrittlement, and your glue gunner should all be in range of both villages. And that's pretty much going to be the setup that carries us for the rest of the game. So you probably want to turn off auto start during 75. Because on 76 we just want to use Sauda's second ability as soon as the rush comes out fully on both tracks. Get Tack Zone as soon as you can, mid 77. So Tack Zone is pretty good. It's not as amazing as it used to be, but as you'll see in this guide, it's still very, very strong. '78, use Sauda's second ability on that first wave. 76, 78, 63, there's a bit of RNG with the rushes, so just use that second ability. Make sure there's no RNG and just be happy. Use her second ability again on the second wave. You don't actually have to, but yeah, it's just recommended. At the end of 78, you can get Balloon Dissolver on your Glue Gunner, so make it a 4-1-0. And then auto start back on. There's not much we have to do. You see me put my bird to first. It doesn't really matter what you do. You should probably just leave it on strong, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. I'm not sure though, so yeah. On 80 you can use Sauda's first ability if you want, but you really don't have to because as soon as it gets to the right side to the Tack Zone it's going to get destroyed. As you see, Big Bird is just completely insane on this map. It carries really, really hard. During 83, you should be very close to Solver. Get it at the end of the round. It doesn't really matter. The setup is completely fine for now, so you don't need to worry about it. Get Splatter mid 84, because we need that pierce, obviously. Lots of balloons on a small part of the track means we need that pierce. After you get Solver, you want to remove that right rock. Mainly because it kind of lowers Tack Zone's DPS. But yeah, not by much. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, just do it because we can afford it. After you remove that right rock, get an Alk in 1 discount range below your Balloon Solver. Upgrade the Alk to a 320. Then just place a bomb shooter next to your glue gunner as high as you can in double discount range. Very, very important. It needs to be in the top village's range. And then a ninja next to the bomb shooter, also in double discount range. This one does not need to be in double discount range, but it's just cheaper if you do it like that. Get a MIB before round 90, obviously, because we can't really hit DDTs with our tack zone. And that's crucial for like round 93, 95, 99. After you have a MIB, start upgrading that bomb shooter to a 030. The bomb shooter is obviously going to become a Moab Eliminator, which lets us beat the really difficult rounds, 98 and 100. Get Moab Assassin when you can afford it. Make sure it's set to strong, obviously. Don't buy any cross paths for your bomb shooter quite yet, because we want to get Moab Eliminator as soon as possible. Once you have a 040 bomb, start upgrading your ninja to a 030. The ninja obviously is going to become a balloon sabo and just help us beat the final few rounds, because we're using sauda, our late game is a little weak, so we need the sabo carry for a couple rounds. Get sabo mid 92. And you should probably have your bird on strong, by the way. If you set it to first, make sure it's on strong for these last few rounds. Because anything that's first, Solver takes care of it. Sabo for 93 when you see a DDT. It isn't always necessary, but sometimes it is. It's kind of balloon Solver RNG based, so just make sure you Sabo DDTs on 93. 94. The right side just gets mulched completely. Balloon Solver is unbelievably goated, it's just too good. You can spam Moab Assassins if you want, but as you see, I don't do that and you don't need to either. Just make sure you don't buy anything, because we need the money for Moab Elim at this point. 95, of course, we need a Sabo again. The timing is pretty simple, and I'll explain that here. You want to Sabo as soon as that second DDT gets destroyed by that top right spike pile. That's the exact timing for it, but if you're off by a little bit, it shouldn't matter too much. It's pretty lenient. During 96, turn off auto start, because 97 is actually the hardest round of the entire run. I can't believe I'm saying those words, but yes, 97 is the hardest round of the entire run. 96, you can spam Moab Elim if you want, but you probably shouldn't, honestly, as you'll see. Don't use an assassin ability for 96, because you don't need to. Buy Elim at the end of 96, get bigger bombs on it, so 150. Set Sauda to last at the end of 96, and then just spam your Eliminator ability. Take 97 slow, by the way. Keep spamming that Eliminator ability. And then right as that right ZOMG is about to pop, use Sabo. And then if you need to, use Sauda's second ability for cleanup on the bottom track. Because what happens is, Moab Elim always targets the top side ZOMG, and the bottom side is really our weakness, so just use Sauda's second ability for cleanup when you see some fortified super surrounds. After that, set Sauda back to first, make your bomb shooter a 250, and 98 you can just keep spamming that Moab Elim ability and it'll clear all the ZOMGs on the top side. And yeah, just destroys everything. Mid 98, get a Spectre in the top villages range, upgrade it to a 140 when you can afford it. For 99, what you want to do is take it slow and use Elim on the first FDDT and then Sabo. Then just upgrade that top Spectre to a bigger stacks You probably shouldn't get white hot spikes. What you should instead do is get primary mentoring on the village for some faster ability cooldowns. But as you will see, it really doesn't matter at all. Leave this factory at the top as a 140, get the village to a 402, and it makes round 100 even easier, as you see. You can use Spike Storm again, just make sure you're spamming Moab Elium for round 100. And that's it. Moab Elium spam on round 100 is pretty strong, so yeah, that's why we used it. But Solver is just completely goated, even though somehow Tack Zone outdamaged it, but anyway.